Hey everyone, I'm very happy today because for this masterclass we have Mauricio Rogriguez. He has a master in business administration, but he's also a financial coach. And he's here to talk about our relationship with money and how to actually make a better relationship with it, right?
Correct. Hi, Diana.
Thank you so much for being with us, Mauricio. I'm really glad.
Happy to be here.
So let's explain a bit why we decided to talk about this. We as immigrants, when we move into another country, sometimes we are very afraid of investing or spending money or even earning money. And this is kind of a big deal because we are not ready for this kind of relationship, which is one of the most important ones in our lives. It's, of course, the relationship with others, with our family, with our friends, but also the relationship that we have with our valuable things.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And it actually goes way beyond that, because if you think most of us make money by sacrificing hours of our life. So you have to be good at handling money, because when you're giving away, when you buy something, it's time. It's time that you could have spent with family, with friends, doing whatever you want to do, the things that you love. So if you're not wise with your money, you're basically wasting your life. So yes, so it's really important. And there's actually a few reasons why it is really important to have the conversation about beliefs. Okay, there's actually 3 reasons that I find. The first one is that most of us, when we realize that we have to do something about our finances, when we decide to say clean up our mess, financially speaking, we, in the best case scenario, we go to a financial advisor or a financial planner, and that's good, right? I mean, financial advisors are very capable and competent professionals, right? They can help you with your investments. They can help you choose the best investments based on your risk profile, based on your goals, based on your situation. They're an amazing source of information, right? They can help you protect your family with insurance. They can help you manage your taxes. There's many things that they can do. So they're really useful professionals that can help you, right? The thing is that if you think about all those things that I just said that they can help you with, all those things need money, right? Yeah. So they can't help you invest if you don't have money to invest. They can't help you protect your family if you don't have money to buy an insurance, you see? So there's actually a previous step that you have to do if you want to go and speak with an advisor or with a financial planner, okay? And that step is something that you have to do. Why? Because if you have bad financial habits, if you spend more money than you make, if you, I don't know, if you don't pay attention to your bills, if you buy pretty much everything that you see when you go to a mall, then guess what? There's not going to be money at the end of the month to save or to invest or to protect your family through insurance. Okay, so there's a previous step that you have to do that it's entirely on your own, because financial advisors, although they have, again, a lot of information, they are not trained to help you with financial habits. That's not what they do. They don't get paid for that, right? It's not their job. So you're pretty much alone on that. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. I don't believe any kind of financial advisor is going to actually come and check in how we're spending our money and what's going to be the smartest way to use it in order for us to achieve the things that we want to achieve in life.
Exactly, yes. I mean, again, it's not their job. You cannot expect them to do that because they're not compensated for doing that. They don't get paid for doing that. So that's reason number 1. We have to do that ourselves. Reason number 2, and you probably know this, is that financial habits are really, well, all habits in general, they're really hard to get rid of. Really hard. And we all know that. We have all tried to get rid of bad habits, not only financial habits, but habits in general.
Yeah.
And and we don't succeed. I mean, you can see that every single year. Every year, there's billions of people that promise that they're going to get rid of a bad habit in that year. They're going to try to go to the gym. They're going to try to I don't know, to quit smoking, to eat healthier. That's me, actually. To learn a new language. There's so many things that we want to do, so many habits that we want to get rid of, or that we want to actually incorporate a good habit in that case, and we just fail. We fail every single year, and most of us, we don't know why. I mean, we put a lot of effort in those. I mean, we're really motivated. We really want to do it, but then little by little we lose the motivation, and we start feeling the temptation. We start feeling like we're missing out on something. We feel uncomfortable, and in the end, well, guess what? You eat that big bag of nachos that you had in you break your diet, or you had that cigarette. So we fail. And why is that? You see, we always wonder, why is that? If I want to change, if I want to do things better, why is it so difficult to break a habit? And that's basically because habits are just symptoms. They're not the disease. They're just the symptom. And it's really impossible to permanently get rid of a symptom if you still have the disease, right?
Wow.
So the only way to actually get rid of a symptom is to get rid of the disease. And the disease in this case is your belief. It's a toxic belief, a harmful belief that you have that is causing that habit, okay? Fighting the habit is a losing battle. It's always going to come back as long as the disease persists. So if you change your belief, your habit is going to go away with no effort, which is amazing, right? So the big issue here is that changing a belief is not that simple, right? Changing a belief, or beliefs, is basically what makes us us, right? It's part of who we are. It's what we use to help make sense of the world, right? So we're going to try to protect them. We're going to try to resist any attempt to change our beliefs, regardless of that belief being good or bad, being right or wrong. We're always going to resist, subconsciously, we're going to resist changing those beliefs. So it's difficult, but unfortunately it's the only way. So that's the second reason why this is relevant and this is important. The fact that, hey, it's hard, but it's the only way. The third reason is the one that I like the most, because it's good news, right? And the good news is that beliefs can be changed, and they do change. Okay, so it's again, it's difficult. It's not impossible. It requires work, but it's a different type of work, and they can be changed. And that's not even the good news. The good news, especially for a platform like the one that we have right now, is that there is no better time in your life to reassess and to reevaluate your beliefs than when you're going through change. Okay, and to me that's great news, because guess what? Every single person in this platform is an immigrant, and there is few changes in life that are as big as immigration. Okay, so everybody watching this video, you, me, we are in the best position to do something about our beliefs. Okay, wow. And to me that's amazing news. So here's what happens when you are experiencing new things. Your mind opens up. Okay, your mind it's trying to so-called that experience to create new beliefs, or to help those beliefs evolve. Okay, for better or for worse. Okay, so it is also risky, right? So every single immigrant out there is going through a process in which we're learning new things, and those things are making our minds to open up to changing those beliefs. Now, immigration is a once in a lifetime opportunity to do just that, to to make your beliefs better beliefs, to replace those bad beliefs, the ones that are holding you back, with new beliefs that are going to enable you to achieve what you want to achieve. So do not waste the opportunity. Be mindful of the opportunity. Take advantage of the opportunity. It's probably one of the biggest rewards of immigration, right? So be mindful of that and take advantage of that. So to me, that's really good news. Okay.
I love what you're saying, because yeah, that's totally right. We've been talking through all these days, we've been talking about how we have to reinvent ourselves when we become immigrants, and how we have to adapt, and how we have to mold again our lives into a new one. And what you're saying is that this is an opportunity for us to achieve and to do and to get whatever we wanted before, and for whichever reason we didn't do. And being given this opportunity, as you're saying, for us to be open instead of fearful of this change is actually, I believe, a relief.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, it's going to happen anyways. I don't know, I mean, you pretty know this and you pretty know what I'm talking about. The thing is that as an immigrant, you change. Tell me that you're the same person that you were 9 years ago. You weren't. No. You're actually a very different person, and not only a different person compared to what you were 9 years ago. You're a different person compared to what you would be had you stayed in your country. Because the experiences that you live as an immigrant, it's like the world is exploding inside your mind. So it's going to happen anyways, right? It's going to happen anyways. We all changed. Now use it to your advantage. Okay?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Love that.
So okay, so let's get down to business. Let's talk about the financial beliefs that are holding you down. One last thing about beliefs. Beliefs are blind spots. We don't see them. We can't see them. Okay. So your first reaction when I start talking about each one of the beliefs is, that's not my case. I don't do that. I know that. Okay. I'm a smart person. I know that that's not the way it works. But trust me, we all believe that one way or another, to one degree or another, right? So give it time. Think about it, and you will realize that you believe that, and that's the first step, right? The first step is realizing that you're believing that thing. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So let's begin with a big one, a very important one, and that's the belief that money is going to make us happy. Okay? This is a really interesting belief because it is somehow counterintuitive. It's basically the belief that if we spend money, we're going to be happier and be better in life. And it's somehow counterintuitive, basically because most people think that if somebody believes that money brings happiness, then that person is going to work hard for money, and in the long term is going to be better financially. That's not the way it works. In 99% of the cases, it's actually the opposite. Now, again, most of us think that we don't believe that, but it's really easy to prove that yes, we do, right? So I'll prove it to you, right? So look around your house right now. If you're watching this video, I don't know, look at your living room, your bedroom, your children's room, right? Your garage, whatever, and grab anything. Say that if you decided to go to your children's room, grab a toy, okay, or grab a shoe or whatever. Now look at it, right? And tell me that you would die if you didn't have that shoe. That your children would die if they didn't have that toy. You see? So you didn't buy that, whatever you're holding in your hand, you didn't buy it because you needed that.
No.
Okay? You bought it because you wanted it, right? You bought it because you wanted it. And the fact that why did you want it? You wanted it basically because you thought, you were expecting to get something in return. And when you bought it, you expected to get happiness in return. And maybe you did, maybe you got something, okay? But the thing is that you're probably thinking right now, well, no, I mean, yes, I bought it because I wanted it, but it's not because I expected to be happy. I'm not trying to buy happiness. I bought it because I want it. I feel like I deserve it. I work hard for me, for my children. And since I work hard, I deserve to buy whatever I want to buy. You deserve to be happy. Everyone deserves to be happy. Your children deserve the best life that you can offer. What I'm trying to say is that you got ripped off. You've paid money for happiness. And the amount of happiness that you got, that you received from that money that you spent is infinitesimal. It's marginal. So you're really giving away something that is way more valuable than what you received, which is a sliver of happiness, if anything at all. So again, it's not that you don't deserve to be happy, you deserve it. It's just that you're making an awful business, an awful deal, right? And if you want to be financially stable, well, guess what? You have to learn to make good deals. Using money to try or giving away money expecting to receive happiness is a horrible deal. A horrible deal. You're wasting your money. Now, here's another way of looking at it. And I'm going to use an example to kind of illustrate it a little bit better. Let's take washing our hands. We wash our hands because we want to prevent disease, right? That's what we want to do when we wash our hands. However, if I'm already sick, how effective is washing my hands to cure a disease?
Non-effective. You're already sick.
Exactly. It's not effective at all. If you're already sick, there's other things that you have to do, like say taking antibiotics. But the thing is that the actions or the things that you do to prevent sickness are good at preventing sickness, but are inefficient at curing sickness, right? In the same way, the things that you do to cure sickness are very effective at doing that, but they're really ineffective at preventing sickness. So same things happen with money. Money is a hygiene factor in your life. So money is going to help you prevent unhappiness. It is really, really efficient at preventing unhappiness, but it's not effective at all at giving you happiness. Okay, so trying to get happiness from money is like trying to cure a disease with through washing your hands. It's just ineffective. It's a waste of time and effort. So another way of looking at it, say that you have $30,000, okay, in your pocket. A bit cool, right?
Yay.
So say that you have $30,000 in your pocket, and then you decide to buy a new car. The amount of happiness that you're going to get from that spending $30,000 is going to be marginal, okay? And it's going to last moments, all right? And say that next week you get sick and you have to pay $30,000 in the medical bills and you don't have it, you see? The amount of unhappiness that you're going to receive from not having $30,000 is way, way bigger than the little amount of happiness that you got from spending it. So money does a great job at preventing unhappiness, but it does an awful job at giving you happiness. Okay, so again, it's just a horrible deal. Now,
sorry, it's just that you made me think that it's not about it's not only about the happiness, but like how many times you've heard of people who are actually hoarders, who are accumulating things that maybe they didn't buy, but what I mean to say is that they are trying to cover a void that they have. Maybe it's unsatisfaction, maybe it's professional dismotivation or sadness or fearfulness or whatever other kind of emotions. It's not only about, okay, so I'm going to buy a pair of shoes and I'm going to be happy, or this car that you talked about. It's how we are.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. How we're covering our emotions and how good are we dealing with them.
I agree. And you see, like I was saying at the beginning, we all believe that. We all, in different degrees, but we all do that. I mean, I have stuff at home, right? And also I try to control it. I still have that belief. So all that you can do is try to, little by little, get rid of that belief and try to replace it with something that is better, that is not going to cost you so much. Okay. Now, if happiness doesn't come from money, which is what marketing is what's trying to tell us, then where is it coming from? And you can actually Google this. There's so many studies and so many papers that have been written about happiness. Happiness comes from relationships. It comes from friends. It comes from spending time with your family, with your loved ones. And that's cheap. That doesn't cost absolutely anything. Okay, so try to shift your focus from spending to get happiness to get happiness from your relationships. Okay, now what's wrong about spending? And this is where I try to connect your belief with your habits. The thing is that as long as you believe that say your children will be happier with more toys, or that you will be happier with a car, or with a new purse, or with a new anything, as long as you believe that, you'll always struggle financially, always. It also prevents you from saving, right? Because if you believe that money equals, or that spending money equals being happy, then you're going to want to spend it all, right? What's the point of saving happiness? You can't save happiness, right? So if to you spending equals happiness, you're going to spend everything that you have. Okay. Now, the opposite is that as soon as you realize that your happiness comes from your relationships, you're going to stop spending. You're going to be happy doing something that doesn't cost you anything, right? You won't feel like you're missing out on something because you're not missing out on anything, right? And the magic is that once you shift that focus, once you stop believing that money is going to just accumulate in your bank account without any effort, because you're not spending. One day, 1 month, you're just going to look at your bank account and think, man, there's $1 million in here, because I wasn't paying attention. I mean, I was just living my life with my wife, my kids, my family, and I just left money accumulating there. Now I can just, you know what, I'm going to start working. I'm going to start volunteering, or I'm going to do whatever I want to do, because money just starts accumulating in your bank account because you're not spending it. Okay, so it removes all the effort and the sacrifice that you feel when you're trying to save against your will. So how do we get rid of that, right? How do we replace that belief? Here's a tip, and it works for me. Whenever I feel like I'm spending too much, or that I'm tempted to spend in something that I don't need, I remember, or I try to go back to a time in which I was happy without much. Okay, so try to think for a minute on that. For me, is the first weeks or months here in Canada. I came here with barely nothing, right? I slept in a couch for about 2 weeks at a friend's, and then I moved out and moved into my new studio. That was tiny. It is the smallest apartment that I have ever lived in my life. I was sleeping in an air mattress. I only had a photo of my wife and some clothes, and that was it. And I was so happy. So if I take a second to remember that, to go back to that moment, what's going to happen is that purchase that I was considering is going to look just not that important. So I try to do that. Try to find that moment, because if you think about it, if you find a moment right now, you will know where to go when you feel tempted. So try to have that ready for when it happens next. Okay?
I love that. I love that story, and I felt so related, because it was the same the same sensation that I got when I arrived here.
Yeah.
I was also sleeping in a borrowed mattress on the floor.
And I bet you were happy.
I was the happiest person on earth.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been 11 years, and remembering all that still puts a smile in my face. And I bet that it's going to happen, for as long as I live. I'm always going to go back to that time. Simple times, no money needed, had everything that I needed. I was happy. So always remember, money helps you avoid unhappiness, but it does an awful job in giving you happiness. Okay?
Perfect.
How was that?
Got it. I love it.
Excellent. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to the second belief. The second belief that is holding you back is that money is the root of all evil. Okay, and again, remember, the first reaction is, I don't believe that. I know that money is not bad. I'm a smart person. Yes, you are a smart person, but we all believe that deep down, deep inside. Now, it's one of those things that we believe it, but we don't really realize it, and it takes many forms. If you believe that if you leave money to your children when you die, if you leave money to them, they're going to become lazy or spoiled. If you're the type of person that believe, you know what, my children, I'm going to leave them an education, but they're going to have to work for the money just like I did. You believe that money is evil because you believe that money has the ability to transform people, to make them lazy in this case. If you believe that maybe you don't have money because you're too nice, because sometimes you believe, you know what, I mean, if I were a jerk, I would be, I don't know, a VP, and I would be making a lot of money. If you believe that you have to be greedy to make money, you're connecting wealth with evil, with sinfulness, with meanness. You're making that connection in one way or another, and to a degree to another. Okay. What's really interesting about this belief is that it is somehow easy to understand why we believe that, and in particular we Latin Americans, because Latin Americans we are Catholic, or most of us anyways, and as you probably recall, the Bible quotes Jesus saying that it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how can you not believe that? You see, if even the Holy Book says that. The problem with that is that it teaches you to fear money. It makes you fear money, that belief. Deep inside, you end up believing that if you have money, you're going to turn into a monster that is not going to get to heaven.
That
right?
you're going to be corrupted.
Exactly. They're going to be corrupt. They're going to lose important things in life. They're going to lose your friends, your family, because money is going to become so important. And since it's evil, then you're going to lose all that. Well, that's not true. That's just not true. Money is nothing but a tool. That's what it is. And I bet that you wouldn't say that hammers are bad or that cars are good, right? Hammers and cars, they're tools as well. And you can use a car to, I don't know, to drive your grandmother to church every Sunday, or you can use a car to run over people, right? It doesn't mean that the car is bad or the car is good, right? The car is a tool. And that's what money is. The problem with this belief also is that every human being is always trying to do what they believe is right. We always do what we believe is right. And if you believe that money is evil, well, guess what? You're never going to try to make money, and you're always going to feel guilty if you are even just a little bit successful because you're making money. So that's the problem with this belief. So again, it's a tool. And just like with a car, it is not good or bad. It's just a tool. You can use it wisely or you can use it foolishly. There is an example that I like very much, and that's, I don't know if you've heard of this, it's called the giving pledge. Have you ever heard that?
No, never.
Okay, well, the giving pledge, Google it, look it up. It's really interesting. It's let's call it a movement in which billionaires pledge to give the majority of their fortunes to philanthropic causes, either when they die or throughout their life. Okay, and as of this year, the pledge has been signed by 187 billionaires in the world.
Wow.
And so far, the full amount of the pledge is close to $400 billion. So having money doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you stop caring about people, okay? If you're mean with money, well, guess what? You were mean before you had money. If you were lazy, or if your children were become lazy with money, well, guess what? They were lazy before. So it doesn't have the ability to transform people. It doesn't have a soul. It can't change yours. So let's replace that belief that money is the root of all evil by the understanding that money is just a tool. It's not good or bad, and that when you have it, you're going to use it for good.
Anything that we can do and overdo, we share.
Yeah. I totally agree. And you know what? It also works as a motivator, right? If you're a good
Yeah.
person, having tools to help people, it motivates you even more. Okay, so all right. So that's the second belief that is holding you back when it comes to financial success. The third one is also interesting because I find that most of us believe that at some point in our lives because of lack of information. But as soon as we have the information, it's somehow easier to change. Okay, and that's the belief that as long as we work hard, money is going to take care of itself. Okay, that all that it takes is working hard. Okay, the problem with that is, well, first of all, is that it's not true, right? Let me give you an example. I'm from Colombia, and we love soccer in Colombia. And I believe we have a really good team, right? And we've always had a good team. Well, sometimes better and sometimes not so good. But here's the thing. The Colombian team works beautifully, play beautifully soccer. But sometimes we lose, right? So here's the thing. Believing that working hard will automatically make you wealthy is as believing that my soccer team is going to win just because they play well. Now, the game of, I'm pretty familiar with soccer, but in soccer, the team that wins is the team that scores more goals. Not the team that plays better, it's the team that score more goals. So believing that you're going to be okay just because you work hard, it's like believing that your team is going to win just because they play well. Now, I'm not saying don't work hard. Keep working hard, okay? But, I mean, working hard is going to increase your chances of being successful. Just like playing better is going to increase your chances of winning a match. But it's not enough, right? It's not sufficient. You have to understand the rules of the game. In soccer, you win if you score more goals than the opponent. And you have to understand the rules of economy as well. Otherwise, you're going to be the team that plays beautifully but never scores. And you don't want to do that. That's a waste of your effort. Okay. So let's try to understand that a little bit. Let's try to understand the rule. Who wins in this system that we all live in? All right. Now, in a capitalist economy, like most economies in the world, money flows from consumers or individuals to companies in exchange of goods and services, right? And then from companies to individuals in exchange of labor, okay? So again, we give money to companies, they give us goods and services, and then companies give us individuals money in exchange of labor. Okay, that's an oversimplification. That's known as the circular flow of income. You can look it up. It's in every macroeconomics book. Now, you can use that model to understand why in capitalism there's always a net flow of money from individuals to business. Always. That's the way the system works. Is that bad? No, that's the system. So let me put it in different words. Capitalism rewards entrepreneurship. Just like soccer rewards goals, capitalism rewards entrepreneurship. Are you playing the right game? Is that the game that you're playing? Because if you didn't know that, you've probably been just playing beautifully, meaning working hard, hoping that in the end of the match, you're going to win. It's not going to happen. Okay? Is that the game that you're playing? Now, if you want to really, really reap the rewards of the system, you have to either own your own business or somehow participate in the profits of a business as a shareholder, for example, okay? If you don't, you're just, again, playing beautifully, but not scoring any goals. You're never going to win, never going to win. Here's another analogy that I really like. I don't know if you've ever played the game of Monopoly.
Yeah, everybody has played Monopoly.
Right? Everybody has. So
Yeah.
let me pull it up so everybody can see. So everybody can remember. You see it? All right.
Yeah, we can say it. Sorry, I was
So
new.
this is the game of Monopoly, and let me just remind you how it works. You go around the board, right? You have the choice to buy properties or businesses depending on the version of the game. And as you go through here, you get to collect a salary, right? So if you don't own your business, if you don't own shares of a business, all that you're doing in life is just going around the board and claiming or collecting a salary, and that's it. And then around the board again, and then collecting a salary. Now, try winning a game of Monopoly that way. You're never going to win. Even worse, try to stay in the game. You're going
Yeah.
to lose, you see? So it is exactly the same thing. So stop just going around and claiming your salary is not going to work. That's not how the system works. And understand that if you really want to reap the benefits of capitalism, you have to play the right game. You have to be an entrepreneur because it is entrepreneurship that is rewarded in capitalism. So forget that working hard is the only thing. Working hard is necessary but not sufficient. Okay, you have to own a business or be a shareholder of a business if you really want to reap the benefits of capitalism. All right?
This is incredible because it just, I believe yesterday or this morning, I no longer remember, I was reading an article saying more or less the same thing about entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs working a lot and hustling and battling every day, 365, 24/7.
Yeah.
They were saying that the biggest economies for the biggest entrepreneurs actually are made by women and men who were working from 5 to 6 hours per day, only 4 days per week.
Yeah, well, there you go. I can definitely believe that because most people, or well, I don't know if most people, but definitely too many people, they don't understand the rules of the game. They believe that working hard is all that they need to do, and that's sadly not the case. So go ahead and change that belief as well. All right. So that's the third belief. Let's go with the last one. The last one is also really interesting, and that's it's one that I like to talk about because it has a little bit of psychology in there, and it's I just like it. It's really interesting. So that's the need for acceptance. Okay, and it has many forms. One form is herd behavior. Okay, herd behavior is actually very known among financial professionals. Okay, because you see that a lot in finances. Herd behavior is the tendency for an individual like you and me to mimic the actions of a larger group. Okay, we tend to do what we see that everybody is doing. Whether those actions are rational or irrational, it doesn't matter. If people are doing things that seem to be irrational at the beginning, chances are, if you feel the need for acceptance, you're going to behave like them. In many cases, herd behavior is a set of decisions and actions that you wouldn't make or things that you wouldn't do if you were just by yourself, right? So they go against what you believe. Now, I don't know if you've heard this, but it is said that humans are intelligent, but masses are stupid. And that's basically why. You see, we all end up doing things that we don't believe are right because we just see that everybody else is doing it. Okay. Now, the main reason for that is that there's a strong social pressure applied to conform. And this pressure is very familiar to many of us. I mean, we have all felt that because we're social beings and we like being accepted. We have a natural desire to be accepted by a group. So we feel that pressure. And we end up choosing behaving like that than be branded an outcast or to be left behind or to be left out. Now, it's really interesting because the risk of following the herd is, again, making mistakes that everybody makes. Herd behavior is responsible for every single bubble, every single financial bubble from the tulip mania in the 1600s. I don't know if you've heard of this. Back in the 1600s, there was a bubble. People were buying tulips. And for whatever reason, tulips started to increase in price. And since everybody was buying tulips, then everybody just kept on buying tulips, and the price of a tulip went to way too high. And then just one day, somebody realized it's a tulip. It doesn't cost that much, and then everything plummeted. So it can explain every single bubble from the tulip mania, which is the first bubble that was ever recorded, to the financial crisis of 2008. Same thing happened. Everybody just kept on doing things that everybody else was doing, and they assumed that it was good because everybody else was doing. So that's one of the ways in which herd behavior, in which the need of acceptance ends up putting you in trouble or making you make awful decisions, financial decisions. Now, there's more cases, more forms. In my opinion, the most interesting one is known as the Abilene paradox. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. The Abilene paradox refers to a situation in which a group of people ends up doing something that they don't really want to do, just because nobody dares to say that that's dumb. Nobody has the courage to say, you know what, no, let's not do that. Everybody wants to conform, everyone wants to be nice, and nobody wants to rock the boat. And I see that all the time, or I saw that all the time when I was a financial advisor. Now I'm a financial coach. But as a financial advisor, when you do a good job, people refer you, right? They're friends. So I used to be referred from family to family. So I ended up meeting with a whole group of families that were all friends. And I could see pretty much every single time that they all wanted to do something differently, but no one dared to say, because they didn't want to be the cheap ones. They didn't want to be the ones that, again, rock the boat. So I'll give you an example. Gifts or children's parties. They felt obligated to throw a party because their child had been invited to another kid's party. So now they had to do it. And whenever they went to another children's party, they felt obligated to bring a gift because their children received a gift in their party. So everybody in pretty much in all those groups that I met with, they all wanted to stop. They were spending gifts, throwing party, and nobody dared to say, you know what, listen, okay, come on over. I'm happy to receive you. Don't bring any gifts. My children have enough toys. Or let's not throw a party. Let's just have dinner, because again, I'm struggling here, and I know that you are struggling as well. But we all somehow end up doing things that we don't want to do because nobody dares to say. So it's really interesting how social pressure ends up affecting you and making you make really, really awful decisions that in the end are not good for your finances.
Well, yeah, definitely. And you just made me like, this was super fun what you mentioned about the families. But in other kind of example, I just imagine people, because this is very common as well. It's like the commitment that you feel with the others, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, let's say that someone lost his job or her job, and there's a summer party somewhere in a rooftop.
Yeah.
And instead of saying to your friends, because actually they are your friends, you should be completely okay being open and telling them, you know, for instance, I'm going to cut it a bit and I won't be at every party because I'm passing through an economic problem or challenge. But have fun. No, instead of doing that, you go and you confirm, you say yes, you go, you spend with remorse, feeling terrible. You don't even enjoy the party, and you go back home and you see like, oh my God, this $100 that I just spent could have been great for me to do another thing.
Hey, to pay a bill because I don't have a job now. I have bills to pay. So yes, and listen, it's sad because, like you said yourself, they're your friends, and you still feel that pressure to comply, right? So it's and again, I saw so many families getting into trouble precisely because of that. Okay, there's one last way in which this particular belief can show up, and that's what's known as keeping up with the Jonases. I don't know if you've heard that expression. But it's basically when people try to show that they're not being left behind. And again, I saw that in the same way, in the same groups or in similar groups. You see that if one of the families buy a new house, it's amazing, but within 2 years, everyone bought a house. It doesn't matter if the first family that bought a house had two parents with good jobs, both, or if it was two parents with no jobs. It doesn't matter. They don't want to be left behind. They want to be a member of the society that is respected. So they do whatever they have to do, but they get a house as well. That's bad. I mean, you have to understand that nobody is going to dislike you if at the moment in time you don't have as much cash flow as your friends. It's not going to happen. They're your friends anyway. So do not follow. Do not try to keep up with your friends, with your neighbors. It's usually a bad decision. Make your decisions on your own. Okay, don't follow. So replace that thought by understanding or by believing that doing what everyone does is not always the best decision. Okay, never ever make irrational decisions, harmful decisions, just to gain social acceptance. It's just not worth it. Okay.
Yeah, I love all your advices. All these tips that you just gave us, I believe they are very easy to follow. This is nothing that is out of our reach. It's actually something very doable. The only thing is that, as you were saying at the beginning, it's all about the habits that we got. Now
Yes.
it's the time of the detox.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you change those beliefs, habits are going to just go away. I mean, it's just the way we work, humans. It's just the way that we are wired. So give it a try. I'm always open to conversation. If you believe that you don't believe those things, if you think that you're really, really savvy when it comes to money, well, I congratulate you. Try to share your wisdom with other people. But if you believe that you're somehow, or that you kind of identify yourself with these beliefs, try to start working on that. There's always hope, and trust me, it is hard, but it's the best way, and it's the only way possible, because attacking your habits just directly is just not going to work.
Yeah, it is not. And I really appreciate that you decided to participate with us, because first of all, you're a great teacher. You got
Thank you.
you got to explain us something which is always scary, because we don't know if this is going to be super advanced, or if he's going to open a graphic and he's going to tell us about numbers. And this was so dynamic and so understandable for everybody. And these, as I was saying, these are very, very little steps that are going to contribute to our families or to our own personal economy. So thank you so much, Mauricio, for sharing all your knowledge with us. I'm really proud and grateful that you decided also to become a member of our board of experts at the Member Zone. And No. And well, I hope that, well, of course, we are going to meet you at the meet and greet party.
Yes, absolutely.
And I hope that we are going to receive a lot of questions, because this is the best opportunity for all of us to come to you and ask you, well, so you already gave me the steps, but I'm stuck with this or that. So, or otherwise, if people cannot join the meet and greet, they always can reach you at the Member Zone. You are there for everybody to explain in English, French, and Spanish. So there are no excuses for you not to reach out to Mauricio. Thank you so much again. It was a big pleasure.
It is my pleasure. Hey, I'm here for you guys. If you have any questions, if you want to talk about it, if you want to debate it, I'm going to be here. Reach me out, and see you in the meet and greet.
Yeah, see you at the meet and greet, and thank you so much. See you soon.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.